Hey everyone, it's Donna Maria and welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to see you here at the Lifestyle CEO. And of course we have with us Donna DeRosa. Yes, hello. You guys, can you believe it? This is our 8 of 8 YouTube basics trainings.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so we have gone through 8 trainings and we started with super basic stuff, and we're still in basic stuff because I'm still in basic stuff. But we have talked about how to set up a channel. We have talked about how to use hashtags on a YouTube channel. We've talked about how to edit videos specifically for YouTube. We've talked about how to create a really nice cover image. We've talked about how to create thumbnails for your videos. And we have covered so many things. And if you've missed any of them, I want to encourage you to click on the YouTube Basics playlist, start with number 1, go to number 2, and so forth. And it gives you a really good current overview of the things that are happening on YouTube and how people are using it effectively when they're just getting started like me. So Donna, this has been fantastic.
Yay, it's been great for me too. You're such a good student.
Well, I did all my homework and I really did pay attention, and I've actually grown a little bit of a following here on YouTube as a result. So obviously though, as any entrepreneur would have, we have a long range plan for a YouTube channel. So I don't really want to make money off of YouTube. Like, my goal is not to make money off YouTube ads. Now that may happen. Like, I don't really know what's going to happen. Just like all of us, when we start a new segment of our business, we have an idea. We have to be flexible. Like, if an opportunity comes along for me to kill it with some YouTube ads, and I'm not going to say no, I'm going to look into it. But that's not really what I'm going into it for. And I think be flexible enough to embrace opportunities that you don't anticipate as they come along. But until that happens, you got to work your plan. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Most of the people who watch me and follow me on YouTube or elsewhere already have a business. So they don't need YouTube for a business, like a new business. They need YouTube to support the business that they already have. And that's really where I'm kind of going in my use of YouTube. So Donna, like that really is two different. And let me give you an example. There's a woman, and I can't remember her name, you guys. I'm sorry. We probably will remember it while we're talking here. And by the way, if you have questions, leave them in the comments and we'll get to those. She started off doing beauty videos. Michelle something. She started off doing beauty videos. She did product reviews and so forth. She had grown up under her mother's feet in a nail salon. And all her childhood, she would read all the beauty magazines, and she was just kind of really getting into it. So when she grew up as a very, late teen, early 20s grew up, she really wanted to have this YouTube channel because it was the dawn of YouTube. And she was like, she had a blog, and that was working well with still images of how to do makeup and stuff. But then she was like, people were like, can you show me this? Like, can I see it live? She was like, why don't you do it on YouTube? So she went on YouTube. So what she was able to do was use the YouTube platform, not to create a separate income stream, but to support her blog, which really wasn't an income stream at that time. But she became so popular that she eventually started making money on ads on YouTube, because she'd have so many views that she was really making some pretty serious money just on the ads. Well, eventually she sort of burnt out doing that, and she ended up starting her own cosmetics line. And so now she uses YouTube not to show you how to apply your makeup, but to sell her products. So she's gone from using YouTube to support the blog, to using YouTube to make money on ads, to using YouTube to support the product line.
Are you talking about Michelle Phan?
Yes, that's her name. Yeah. Yes. So now she doesn't do those videos that her channel's probably still there, but now it's all about the products that she's selling. But the core that's always tied everything together is YouTube. So whether she's promoting the blog, promoting, you know, her advertising, selling ads on YouTube, or her products, she's still using the same platform to do those three things. So that's what I have noticed, is that people who are most successful on YouTube, outside of the ones who are just trying to sell ads, and I have thoughts about that. I'm not going down that road right now. They really have something else that they're trying to develop, a platform on YouTube that interests people enough to get them to go from YouTube to there, from YouTube to their blog, from YouTube to their products that they want you to buy.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a whole industry that has popped up because of this. There are some agencies now that are specifically for YouTubers and social media people. Like there's a British agency called Gleam International, I think, or Gleam Futures. And people like Zoella, who started doing beauty reviews and then wrote books and then had a lifestyle line and a beauty line and a bath and body line. Or there are a lot of makeup bloggers that got represented by them, and some of the boy vloggers too, who used to just do comedy things and goofy things, and they're not just vloggers. Some of them just have blogs. Like there's a girl named Poppy who has just a blog. She just won Blogger of the Year last year from Blogosphere magazine, and they started an industry where they are sort of an agency, like a management, sort of like a talent agency for them, but they've gotten them all to do something outside of their original plan. So they've either made them all write books or start a product line. They're trying to make them expand and think of themselves as a business, not just as a YouTuber or a blogger, that you can actually, because who knows how long all this can last. You know, you have a million followers on YouTube and you're making ad revenue, and maybe you like come out with a lip gloss line or something, but they really want them to take it to the next level to where, like, you know, it's a platform like anything else.
Your audio
that can go
disappeared.
Away. My audio disappeared?
Yeah, I can't hear Donna anymore. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully she'll come back. But yeah, she was talking about how fluid all this is. Like we can be on YouTube, you know, killing it 1 minute, and then for some reason it all just sort of falls apart. And that can happen because these platforms are not controlled by us. They are owned by someone else. And if whoever, you know, if Google doesn't like your channel for whatever reason, they can just take it down, or they can remove all your followers. Just click a button and they're all gone. So, and that's the same with, you know, any of us using social media. Like you got to have a strong core someplace else, so that the social media is really just to get people's attention in a way that influences them to come to that something else, that could see what else it is that you have to offer, that they can really sink their teeth into.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. Well, that's why I was thinking about your channel. You also have to, like, your whole channel is about how to fit your business in with your lifestyle. And I think for you, you need to think about how to fit your new YouTube channel in with your lifestyle and your business. So you like to make videos when you are out and about in the world, you know, and someone may ask you a question or you have an idea and you want to share it right away. You know, so you'll record a video really fast. And I think that's great. And you're good at that because you're good at like talking without saying a million times or stumbling over your words. So I think that we were talking earlier, you could have a mix on this channel of like, you're not selling products on here, you're selling your lifestyle business, right? So, and you're selling yourself really. And so you could have a mix on here of those kind of videos where they're sort of like a vlog style, where you just come on and you chat about something, and you know, people like you have a personality, you're good at those kind of videos, you have great content. But then also you could have videos separately on your channel where they're more polished, and you're going to sit in a little studio atmosphere. Maybe you make a little set at home or something, put a little plant behind you or something, make it look nice, and you sit down, and maybe you're going to go over something a little more complicated that needs slides to help you demonstrate it, or you want to have some B-roll to show it in action. So you can do those kind of things too. And that would take some editing. So we learned how to edit, you know, so you can have the ones where you make easily, where you're sort of vlogging, and then you can have the ones that are a little more polished. And then maybe once in a while on your channel, you can go live like we are now. So I think that would be a nice blend for you and would help you fit this into your lifestyle, because you can't always be in the studio making a polished video. You're out and about all the time, running around with your kids, going to a football game, you know, doing things like that. You got to make dinner. You know, sometimes you can turn your camera on and, you know, the representative, what's her name? They call her Acacia. What's her name?
The representative?
The House of Representatives. She's always like making cooking videos. The young girl who's Acacia, what's her name?
There's a House of Representatives congressperson who's making cooking videos.
She comes home from work and she's making dinner and she sets up her phone and she talks about something while she's cooking. Yeah.
Let's go.
I can't think of her name.
I feel like I don't even watch.
Name. Acacia. What's her name? Oh my God, I can't remember her name. Let me say.
That is, I had no idea. No idea at all. What fun! That is fascinating to me.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, her. Does she do that? I had no idea she did that.
Yeah, I don't know if she's still doing it now that we're going through all the impeachment and everything, but sometimes she would come home from work, she'd set her phone up right on her counter and she's like, I'm hungry, I'm making dinner, and she's making something while she's telling you what she's doing, while she's talking about whatever they were discussing in politics that day. You know, you know, I can see you doing that. You're like, I'm making a vegan meal tonight. I'm following this video, but I wanted to tell you that, you know, and whatever is your topic of the day, there's a hot topic that you want to talk about. You could just vlog style or go live and do that. And once in a while on my channel, I'll just go live, you know, and I'll make something and be like, I'm just going to make just a little one-off pasta. I didn't think it would be interesting, but maybe it is. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing it, you know? So
I think that really fits my personality and my style. That I've seen some beautifully edited videos on YouTube, and I've seen some videos that weren't as beautifully edited that were still interesting. And then I've seen some that are just people talking. And I'm astounded at the engagement that the people just talking get on these videos. So I'm encouraged to see that there are a lot of different directions that you can go in. I'm also really encouraged to see the variety, because as a lifestyle CEO, that is a person who is really more intentional about the kind of life they have and really fitting the business into the life. Like, I don't want to have to constantly be worried about sharing quality information, but then having to spend 3 more hours of my time making it look a certain way, because that's 3 hours away from my children. That's 3 hours away from other things I need to be doing. Not that it's not worth it if that's what you feel like you want to always put out there. But I know for me, my entrepreneurial engine runs so quickly that if I get my ideas out there in a format that I think people can really understand and embrace and make their own, I'm already onto another idea. So for me, having to sit down and edit that idea is almost like, but wait, I've had 3 more ideas that I'm not getting out into the world because I'm editing this one idea.
Right.
That's
so maybe
kind of how,
maybe you could make a more produced video, you know, once a month, and you know that you have all month to kind of put it together. And then the other ones, if weekly, you do your quick ones, you know, like sometimes like every month I do on my channel what I eat in a day, and I film the entire day of what I'm eating. I only do it once a month because it's hard to film yourself all day long, you know, being like what I ate for breakfast, what I ate for lunch, what you know, so in the other weeks I do shorter videos, little one-off things, you know, and then once a month I get the big long one. But people like that one, and they ask me, you know, when am I going to do it? And I'm always trying to squeak it in before the end of the month, you know, and I try to make it about that month, the seasonal, what's in season for December that I'm making, you know, and you know, and it's a lot more effort to do that video, but it's worth it because they're my most watched videos, you know. So
well, I really
it's a balance.
It is. Yeah, hopefully it will be a balance. I don't know if it's going to be a balance for me, Donna, though. Honestly, after this amazing 8 weeks of training, and after the feedback I've gotten, because I have gotten feedback from people, the overarching point that I kind of want to share with everyone who's been paying attention to this YouTube series, presumably in part because you're thinking maybe a YouTube channel could work for you, is how to make it efficient, but also effective.
Mhm.
So in order to be effective, the question then becomes, does it have to be very highly produced? And I
Mm.
think the answer is no.
Mm-mm.
So that's good news for our viewers, right? That's good
Right.
news for people who are watching. So what I'm thinking is, one of the things I've noticed as I've gone back and looked at some people's YouTube channels who have completely blown up is I've gone back to look at their first videos, at least the ones they kept up there, because my guess is they pulled some down.
Mhm.
Okay, because I've pulled some down, right? This one, let's pull this one down. Um, what I've noticed is they began to get a groundswell of organic following before they highly produced anything.
Right.
Like they really started getting people who were interested in them long before that. Now, let me give you an example. And I can't remember this person's name off the top of my head, but maybe I will in a second. He is in the South somewhere. I don't know his name because his YouTube channel is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like he's not even trying to build a brand. He's a single dad. He has a son. They live in what appears from the surroundings to be a very small home. He's a very, very humble appearance to the kitchen and so forth. And he buys almost everything he makes in the frozen food section at Walmart, because he'll tell you, this is where I bought it from.
Mhm.
And he just had to feed his child. He's not a chef or anything, but he seems to be pretty good at like tossing stuff together and making it taste good. And I was mesmerized by this man's very plain food videos. Not that I would eat that way, because a lot of it was really things that I could eat all day, honestly, but I wouldn't, and I can't. Otherwise, I would not be able to eat that way. But what was fascinating to me was the level of engagement he had from people who seemed to have a vested interest in his well-being. Like they wanted to know how his son was. They wanted to know, what camera he was using for his videos. They wanted to know how things were. And he started off making videos about guns. Like, because I went back to see the old videos. Told you he was in the South. There
Yeah,
were
I
a
know who
lot
you
of guns around.
mean.
And I was amazed. So I'm like, I would not normally watch that. But what I was watching it for was the enthusiasm of, now he has stopped making videos and he just suddenly seemed to have stopped. And so right now, if you look at some of his videos, the latest comments are, where are you? Like, did something happen to you? We miss your videos of basically cooking sausage and biscuits and scrambling an egg the right way. I mean, it's just really fascinating. So I guess what I'm saying is, you guys, what I'm learning and what I am going to put to the test, I'm just going to tell you right now, is you can build an audience because there's millions and bazillions of people in the world. Some of them want the fancy and some of them don't really care. What I think they want is someone who can talk to them in a way that they can understand about a topic that matters to them, whether it's making vegan food or making the Walmart style food or making your Mediterranean diet or all smoothies or only salads or how to build a business, that makes you millions, or how to build a business that gives you a really good lifestyle. Whatever it is that is interesting to them, if they can find like a kindred spirit that can talk with them about that, what that's going to attract is other kindred spirits, and that's how the community forms. So no matter what it is that you're talking about, whether you're selling services or maybe you have a beauty product line or you're selling cosmetics or handmade soap or whatever it is, if you can wrap the conversation on YouTube around topics that are of interest, like maybe creativity. Soap making is very close to cooking. It's cake making, like you use the same tools. So if you can figure out how to reach people and talk with them in a way that interests them about topics that they care about, then the production can be not awful. It can't be awful. You have to have good audio. Nobody can hear you. They're not going to pay attention. If the camera's blurry, it hurts their eyes. They're not going to watch. But I'm just thinking that as long as you're able to deliver something that is interesting to them, that shows that you care, and that gives information and entertainment, that you can edit or not, and just put that out there and wrap it around your brand and have it not be some, because I think a lot of people think when they think about YouTube, it's like, oh God, I just can't fit it in. I just can't fit it in. And that's how we talk about a lot of social media outlets, because it's just another thing. YouTube is a little bit different though, because there's a whole different community, very different from any other social media outlet that I've ever used before. So did what I say make any sense, Don?
It does make sense. The thing you have to concentrate on is being found. So once people get there, yeah, you don't have to have the greatest production value. You do have to have a clear picture, clear audio so they can understand you. You have to have good content, you know, but you have to be found. So that's why it's important. Your thumbnails are very important. Your titles are very important. You have to think about search engine optimization, even on YouTube, because it's just a gigantic search engine. You have to make sure you have keywords in your description. I was watching something on YouTube by them the other day, and they were saying that the words that you use in your description are even more important than the tag section. You know how you can put in your tags? And the tags are important too, but they're like, it's even more important is the title, mostly the thumbnail and your description, where you write your, you know, what the video is about. So yes, you can have the greatest content in the world, but if no one can find it. So, you know, you like to make videos when you're out and about, and I think that's great. And they're really good and they're compelling. Just make sure you put a good thumbnail on it. Make sure you title it properly. I mean, even these, I mean, we're sitting here on Zoom. This isn't the greatest quality ever because I'm using my camera in my computer. So it's, you know, it's a little blurry. The lighting's not great, you know, but you can make a great thumbnail and there's compelling content and people are going to watch it. You know, I think over time, just naturally, you're going to want to improve your quality, and you will just naturally anyway, because you're just it's going to get easier for you, you know? And like for me now, like I know like editing is still this big monster thing that is like a hurdle everyone has to get by, but I showed you how easy it is and you're not used to it. I can edit so fast now when I do my own work that I don't worry about it that much, you know? So don't worry about if you're going to make a video where it's editing. And I think once in a while, like we talk about on our blogs, you want to have some cornerstone content, you know, some evergreen content that is what you're talking about, that is your brand. You're going to want those to be, I think, a little bit more polished video. Spend time on them. Maybe get them out of your system first by doing them in your car while you're driving or something, but then go back and try to think, I'm going to make this into a nice video that people can find. And it can be a mix. You know, because you want to attract some people who have the eye for better quality content, because you have better quality content than most people online, you know, so, and you want to attract people that are going to be able to afford whatever it is that you're going to be selling, you know, and the guy with the cornflakes and the sausages and whatever, he can be very compelling, but he's not selling anything, you know, so, you know, it's not his business. He did it probably for fun and people get compelled by that. I mean, we're all compelled by these personalities that we find on YouTube. It's amazing how endlessly fascinating we can find the common man, which is great on YouTube. It's made everybody, you know, be able to just publish on their own and produce their own television shows, you know, and it doesn't have to be, you know, an ABC sitcom with stars in it that have a high TVQ. It can be the regular person. They can be just as compelling. But, you know, there's very little money to be made in ad revenue unless you have 1 million followers, you know, so it has to be in support of something else, which your channel is. You're not trying to make money off the ads. The ads is like a little cream on the top, you know, that eventually you can get once you get your 1,000 subscribers and you're allowed into the program. But it's very little money. Once in a while you get a little money, but as you grow and grow and grow, you might find that you're just like, hey, I'm making $700 a month on this. It's still not enough to live off and support your whole family on. But, you know, it can still be something, and it might get you partnerships outside of YouTube, and it might get you, you know, if a brand wants to work with you, they're not going to want you to hold their product up, you know, in their car and be like, look, I have this thing. They're going to want a more polished presentation. So it depends on what you want out of your channel eventually. So I would say do a mix. You don't have to do a lot of the heavy editing and stuff like that. Get comfortable with it first. And you may find that you want to do a little bit more of that as you move along. You might want to buy a better camera eventually. And, you know, like for a long time, I worked with my phone. Only this year did I go out and buy myself a vlogging camera that I'm using, you know, and I think it makes a difference in the quality of my images, You know, I don't have to use the filters that I showed you so much, you know, with a good camera, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think those are really, really, really good points. And I think this also points out what you're saying, how important it is to start where you are.
yes.
I mean, I'm like such an example of that. You know, even though I've been in business for 20 years, I've never really paid much attention to YouTube. I have decided to do that now. But I'm still starting. Like I am, you know, I always like to say, you know, it's great to be a beginner. Like I'm not a beginner at business, but I'm a beginner at using YouTube for business. I'm not totally new to YouTube. I have plenty of YouTube videos up at the Indie Business Network TV channel at, I think it's youtube.com/indie business TV. Tons of videos over there. But I was never trying to get a following there. What I was trying to do was upload a video so I could get the embed code and put it at my blog, at my website where I was trying to get a following. So I've been using YouTube for reasons that have nothing to do with building a community on YouTube. So being able to start where you are and then evolve from there.
Right. Start where you are and be yourself, because, you know, like I'm still a fledgling little cooking channel, you know, and I can't be Martha Stewart or Jada De Laurentiis. I just don't have the production value. So I have to do what I can right now. And as time goes on, I will try to improve. And maybe as I get a bigger audience, I can afford to improve more, you know, but yeah, you have to start where you are and just be yourself. Like, don't try to be Marie Forleo, you know, if you're talking about business, because you can't be. She's already done it, you know?
Yeah, and it's certainly that advice goes for everyone. Like, don't be somebody else. Like, don't even try to be somebody else. It's just not going to work. So, wow, Donna. Well, unbelievably, this is the end of our time together. Pretty much, it's been wonderful. I have learned so much, and now I'm ready to leave the nest, figure out how to take all the information that you've given me over the last 2 months and put it to work in a format that actually works. So let me just tell you like the top things I learned. Okay. The first thing I learned that's always in my head is you always shoot. You do not shoot like this, up and down. You shoot in portrait, not portrait. You shoot in landscape. Landscape mode for YouTube. Okay, and that was almost a deal breaker for me. You know why? Because it means sometimes you have to do stuff twice.
Right.
Because every place else you shoot in portrait, because this is how people are used to watching stuff on their phones. So I almost like called the whole party off when I heard about that. So that's one thing. Once I got over that hump, I knew I could get over almost anything. Number 2 is the thumbnails. The thumbnails can't just be choose a still from whatever YouTube gives you. You got to make a thumbnail that's attractive. So when people are scrolling through, they see, you know, like your big face, your big smile, something, whatever it is that's relevant for you in whatever point you're trying to get across. So the thumbnail. Thirdly is the cover, like letting people know as soon as they land on your YouTube channel what they're going to get. Like it can't just be, you know, your brand with your logo. It has to be, well, that's just a brand and a logo to me. What is it? What am I going to get? Are you uploading videos every Tuesday? Are you going to once a month? And what are you going to teach me? How to cook, how to be an entrepreneur? What are you going to teach me? So that's really important as well. And that totally was lost on me when I first started. I was like, it's my brand. It's my home. Here we all are. Like nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. Okay, so that's the third thing. The fourth thing is using those little emoji on the playlists. I don't really have enough to do that yet, but I'm going to definitely remember that. Making the titles, tightly describing the titles. Like here's my idea is to every title should be like the chapter of a book. With keywords, searchable keywords. With keywords, right. But that sort of punchy, so everybody knows in like 6 or 7 words what they're getting with that. And that's not always easy. You think that should be easy,
Mhm.
but it's not always easy.
But if
to
you
do
wanted to
that.
put more in your title, you could also, like, if you wanted to keep your title punchy, and if you had something else you want to say, stick it right on the thumbnail. You know, like you've been
Stick it
doing
on
that.
the
Like you,
thumbnail. Okay, that's a
yeah,
good idea.
extra
Yeah.
words on the
Yeah.
thumbnail. So, you know,
Right.
you still get
Extra
it in
words
there,
on the
but you
thumbnail.
know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the description. I haven't gone through and done all of my descriptions, but what I've been watching other people do is like descriptions are like this long.
Mhm.
Like descriptions aren't a description of the video. Descriptions are this long and they have many, many links. Like here's my Instagram link. Here's where to buy the products I talked about in this video. Here I am in the video I talked about in this video. There's a link to that. Just all sorts of, I mean, because you guys, Google is about inbound links. So you got a business. Why not use your YouTube channel to give you more inbound links? It makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
And then last but not least, Donna, I think what I need to think more about is the specific playlist topics like that my channel is going to cover.
Mhm.
And they don't necessarily at first blush go together because it's my life.
Mhm.
And so I think some of the things may at first seem a little bit disjointed from business, but honestly, what I have discovered in 20 years in business is that every aspect of your life impacts your business.
Mhm.
So a playlist that doesn't at first seem like it would be business related, I can make it business related because I have learned over the years that it impacts my business
Mhm.
and vice versa. So I'm really excited about sharing that sort of well-rounded perspective of entrepreneurship that combines the profit-making requirement of business and all the administrative stuff and all the, you know, business-related things that you have to think about. But I have found over the years that success in business is less related to those things and more related to how you develop yourself as a person in your life, because that's what you're bringing to the helm of that business. And if that person is not developed enough to lead that business, the business is not ultimately going to do well. So that's pretty much what my channel is going to be about. Does
And
that sound
just,
interesting?
yep. And let me give you a couple more tips before we. I know
Okay.
we're over time, but don't forget to put a call to action in your video. You know, so if
Okay.
if you want, because you don't want to just be making ad revenue, you want people to do something else. So if there is something in your video, tell them to go to your blog or sign up for your newsletter, or you know, tell them, like, don't forget to use the platform to get what you want. And don't forget that you can reuse this content elsewhere. So you can embed this video on your blog or on your website.
Yeah.
And you
I probably
can
will.
you
I'll do
can
that a
throw this
lot.
video into iMovie and take 15 seconds out of it and stick it on Facebook and tell people, want to watch the rest of this? Click over to this link. You know, use it on your other social platforms. And, you know, but just put a snippet of it. You know, just take a little piece of it and say, you know, something very compelling, of course, and then say, for the rest of this video, click over to my YouTube channel. While you're there, subscribe. You know, so there are a lot of ways that you can try to get people to come into your channel and then get people to do something that you want them to do once they're on your channel. So
great suggestions. Those are excellent suggestions, Donna. I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to watch this section again before I dive in 2020. It's coming in 2020. So perfect timing too, to like close out the year with all these great tips and a whole new platform to explore and see how I can use it to enhance my life and also help other people to have success in their lives and their businesses, which is of course where my heart always is anyway. So Donna, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for teaching me and teaching everyone else. You guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Donna and I will come back and have a look. And
yes, thank you for being brave enough to do this whole series live.
I
it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And you know, to me, it was just efficient. Like, why not do it live and get more people on the channel? It just kind of made more sense. I hope you guys stay. It's gonna, if you can imagine it, it's going to get even better. And I'll have Donna back again as a guest, maybe in 6 months, and let her critique me and see how I'm doing. That would be fun. All right, everyone. Listen, you guys, we're coming down to the end of the year. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Donna, have a great holiday season. And we'll see you next year, you guys. Take care. Happy holidays. Bye.
Bye.